Raptors start the season with a win. They get it done in the end in the nitty-gritty of the fourth quarter. 97-94.
Winner, gagnant.
Darko is a winner in his debut as a head coach in the NBA. What a performance by the team to set the tone for the season. Yeah, the Timberwolves aren't the greatest team. They're a playoff. They should be a playoff team, though. And if we want to be a playoff team, we got to match up well with teams like this. A lot of great individual performances by the Raptors put into this one. And, hey, it was a fun game. The season looks like it's going to be an exciting one. Let's get into our post-game show, everybody. If you guys enjoy the content from today's episode, please make sure you smash that like button. It does go a long way to supporting the channel. And subscribe. We do stuff like this for every Raptors game, so would greatly appreciate a subscription to staying up to date with all the content that we are doing over here. And chat is going crazy right now for the Raptors win. Let's get into our breakdown of the game. So, Raptors got out of the gate, started really well here against the Timberwolves, wanted to set the tone early. And they did. They did just that, but the Timberwolves made adjustments. And early on in the game in particular, a lot of problems arose for the Raptors because the Timberwolves were pretty content to just allow us to shoot threes, allow us to take the shots from the outside. They're essentially saying, if you want to beat us, go ahead and take jump shots to do it, daring us to do that. And for the initial stages of the game, it was working. We weren't knocking down shots. It got a little bit sloppy after a hot start. Timberwolves wanted a big run. Took a lead there, but things started to change as the Raptors adapted to strategy here. So we'll give Darko credit. A small adjustment, but an adjustment. The Raptors turned into a team that just were all out in the transition. Rebound, push it quickly. Steal, of course, push it quickly. And the slow-footed big team in the Timberwolves here did struggle in transition all game. Gobert and Cat struggled there to a certain degree. Kyle Anderson, who got a lot of minutes, struggled there. And they just couldn't hang with the Raptors in transition. So that's where we got a lot of our advantages. And throughout the duration of the game, that is where the Raptors started to thrive. Having so many players with the ability to orchestrate an offense in those fast-paced settings, in those full-court settings, is great to have. So if it is Dennis Schroder doing it, he was great today, he can do that. If you have Scotty Barnes doing it, he was great today, he's doing that. If it's Siakam doing that, he wasn't great today, but you know what? He can still run the offense and be a threat with the ball in his hands. The mere presence of him can cause some chaos for the opposition defenses. So slight adjustment, but a necessary one. Good to see. Where there may be some problems, which ultimately could have led to a loss, Raptors were up 70-60 in the third. Bench lineups continue to find some difficulty. Scoring is still a bit of a problem for the bench. Achua had 8 points in the first half and none in the second. Gary Trent, looking for an extension, of course. 27 minutes, only 5 points. Straight up not good enough from the bench today, but fortunately we had enough juice from the starters to get us over the line here and start us off. First game of the season, you're above 500. That is certainly great to see. We can make adjustments as we go. I'm more concerned about where the starters are doing and how they're playing, so happy to have that point at least on the money for the Raptors. Let's get into the box score of the game and just kind of go take you through where it was impressive from the starters. So Dennis Schroder is the player of the night easily. Led the team with plus 10, 22 points. Really, really, really good second half. He's a bit inefficient in the first half. Much more efficient in the second half. 8 of 17. And the big thing is the 4 of 8 shooting from 3. He is not the most consistent three-point shooter, not the most volume shooter, but he was tonight. 8 threes, hit 4 of them. Raptors as a whole shoot 40% from 3. So even though we struggled early to shoot threes, they were daring us to shoot threes. They weren't daring us at the end of the games. We had a lot of guys knocking down shots. Even Barnes had one early. OG was 4 of 9 from 3. Siakam, despite his struggles, was 3 of 5 from 3. Great to see on that front. Point-wise, Anunoby was great. 20 points, 7 of 13. 6 rebounds to go along with it. 2 steals, 3 blocks. Monster defensive night statistically. I felt, to be honest, OG's defense struggled as a whole. Statistically, it was good. As a whole, I thought he got blown by a bit too much for a player of his caliber. But, hey, despite Anthony Edwards getting 26, he had to take 27 shots to do it, and he had only 8 makes. Can't hate that. Karl-Anthony Towns, 19 points on 25 shots. Can't really complain too much about that from a defensive standpoint either. Scotty Barnes adds in 17 points, and he stuffed the stat sheet, guys. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. 5 blocks from Scotty Barnes, 2 steals. I mean, this guy's swatting shit, too. He's playing volleyball out there with some of those layups. Jakob Poeltl, not a ton of minutes, but you know what? Didn't really need it here. You would think you want the Poeltl matchup for Gobert, but great recognition from Darko. Again, you know, we're pumping his tires. It's something that's obvious, but Gobert struggles when you have to make him play outside of the key, so he tried to go small a lot. Achua got 24 minutes for that reason and got late game minutes for that reason. Get Gobert out of the paint, have that switchable defender on him. That's what makes life difficult for Gobert. But in his minutes, when Poeltl had to get out there, yeah, 3 of 3 from the field, 11 rebounds, and you know what? A lot of the stuff that Poeltl doesn't show up on the stat sheet. As I said, Siakam wasn't phenomenal tonight. He's 5 of 17, 3 of 5 from 3, which is good. But yeah, 2 of 12 on the inside for Siakam. Was getting the good looks. 17 shots is a lot. I don't even think he was forcing things. He is our best player after all. You want him to take on shots and take on those opportunities. Was getting good looks. Stuff wasn't falling, but still had 15 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. So if that's a bad night for Siakam, we can handle that. We can certainly handle that. Fortunately, we did handle it tonight. He'll be better next game. We'll have a better performance from next game. As I mentioned earlier, We've had worse bench nights than 16 points coming off the bench, but Gary Trent, who obviously is better when he starts the game, the reality is Dennis Schroder is the starter, and he proved why today. He was great. Gary Trent is going to have to figure out a way to be effective off the bench, especially in a contract year. He's going to have to find a way to be effective off the bench. That's just what his role is going to be. He had looks tonight. Was not knocking them down. I'll give him credit. He hustled on defense. Wasn't a liability on defense, but again, we just need more from him. Achua brought in a nice spark off the bench in the first half. They kind of clued into it in the second half, but still, based on somewhat low expectations for Achua going into today, was more than happily surprised by his performance. Other parts of the bench, yeah, Malachi Flynn, a minus 14. You felt it. 10 minutes only. He just doesn't. I'm trying to be nice. The influence, the passing was okay. He wasn't trying to do too much, but the lack of offensive production scoring wise, coupled with just an inability to really affect the game defensively, makes it really tough for Malachi Flynn to get minutes. I wonder what the plan is to get a backup point guard for this team. Is it going to continue to be Flynn? Because I don't know if you can keep doing that. Is it going to be Javon Freeman Liberty? Is it going to be a point guard by committee? I don't know. But the early sign here is that, once again, Flynn's defense just isn't good enough. And the offense doesn't make up for it. Jalen McDaniels got 16 minutes. Was okay defensively, but 16 minutes for me of, is he really doing enough to play? 0 for 3 from 3. If you're just going to have him in for shooting, you're not going to have him on the inside. Okay, it's just one game, but, can we use Otto Porter Jr. maybe? He's a good shooter. I'd probably rather go Otto Porter for the offensive part of his game and slightly decrease your defensive ability there, but we'll see. It's just his first game. Maybe need some time to settle into a new team. Team stats overall, Raptors shot the ball really well from 3, as we saw. It was a sloppy game shooting-wise for both teams. We saw how poorly Cat and Edwards shot. That was half of the Timberwolves shots as a whole, so that led to some of the demise in the field goal percentages. Raptors shoot 40% from the field. Not great. Some of that Siakam. They shoot the ball 40% from 3, which is great to see. 3-point percentage was a bit of a worry for me going into the season, but we had that down. That was nice to see. Rebounding-wise, like I said, we went small. I'm not as worried. We used the small ball to be advantageous in the fast break points. We had 34 fast break points compared to just 12 by the Timberwolves. We went small. We went transition-oriented. Yes, we sacrificed some rebounds. Yes, they got a bit more offensive rebounds, but it turned into 34 fast break points. That is why we did it. Does it have second chance points up here? It doesn't. I would be interested to see how many points they got off second chance opportunities from those offensive rebounds. But regardless, fast break points. That's where the Raptors won. At Thursday's practice, Darko Rajakovic, new Raptors head coach, made a point that the Raptors want to be a team that gets that in transition. Yeah, I want to see improvements in the half court, but I'm also okay with playing to our strengths here and using the transition game to our benefit, especially early on in the season when we're kind of feeling the team out. Darko's, getting his feet, dipping his toes in the water a little bit of being this whole head coach in the NBA. And you know what? Great start. The game could have been better. It could have been a whole lot worse as well. But yeah, first game of the season could have been better. Definitely could have been worse. We get a win. I'm happy. I had fun watching the game. The Raptors just look a lot more fluid offensively. Dennis Schroder was great. Shout out Dennis Schroder. MVP of the night for the Raptors. Made it work on the inside. Made it work on the outside. Did a good job in setting up his teammates as well. But a collective great performance by the starting unit and a bit of the supporting cast. I'm excited to see where this team can go. Look, it's the Timberwolves. This is a team that's probably going to be close to where our record is going to be. We're at home. Start the season off. Boost some morale. Who knows? One game at a time. That's 1 out of 82. A lot more to come. I'm excited. Drop a like if you're excited as well. Subscribe for more Raptors content just like this.